Hey guys, Hastings here and welcome to Mods on GTA 5 Online, my investigational series where I attempt to find out which car has the most effective upgrades. As you can see, the car of choice this week is the Sultan, our first non-muscle car. It's actually a very popular car among owners on GTA Online. I think due to the Sultan RS badge thing that you get when you upgrade it as a reference to the previous GTA game on GTA 4. And now, for the first lap, it's always good to get a decent banker lap in. I think I said it in the last episode. I think I had quite a bit of a mare messing up my words when talking about it actually. Yeah, I'll try not to do that again. So as we come onto our first lap, we're going to come across the bridge, and I'm probably going to repeat myself again when saying this is where the most amount of time is going to be made up in the fully upgraded car because of all the power upgrades that you get. However, going through the corners might be a slightly different matter, and that could be good for this car, the standard car anyway, because it's quite a nice car to drive through the corners. It does tend to understeer through the very tight corners, but in these hairpins it's kind of expected no matter what car you're in. So that's not really a big issue. What can be a bit of a big issue is the body roll. You probably see coming through here does kind of get pushed sideways, and I think that's probably due to the mass as opposed to the lack of grip, because it has quite a nice amount of grip. It's quite nice to throw about, but it's not always the fastest way around a corner. Well, it's not throwing a car around a corner, kind of drifting it sort of thing, isn't the fastest way around the corner. And that's not the fastest way to get around that chicane either. Bit of an accident there. We'll move on and we'll take the next lap to start, and we're going to give it another go. Yay! Through nice and cleanly without crashing. That was an absolute terrible mistake. You can't crash at the first corner. What kind of... anyway, we'll move on. We're going to come back up here. This is a very interesting place in this car. That corner there was very interesting, because the brakes were not as good as I expected from this car. They're not bad, but for some reason I just expected them to be a bit better. The very first time I flew into that corner, I braked and I thought, this isn't stopping very quickly. And it turns out I've got to brake a lot earlier than I actually initially anticipated. But anyway, we're looking now going down towards the tyres and see if we can do any better through the high-speed section. Can we? Can we get through the chicane? Yes, we can, and that was a lot neater as well. Sticking a bit of tyre on the grass, but that doesn't really make a lot of difference in this car. It's got a decent four-wheel drive system, I believe. Although I've crashed again. I think that's the first time I've messed up with that hairpin. That's not ideal, is it? So that's another crash and another lap. I've only got the one banker in. Oh God, I've crashed again at the first chicane. I've got one more lap to do where I can't crash because I've only got one banker lap in. I could be letting this car down quite a bit here. Come on, car, right. Decent through the first section, taking it nice and cautious, because obviously I've not been brilliant through that section so far this episode. Starting to look around a bit, going over the bridge, just because it's a bit boring going along there, and it's quite a slow car in a straight line. Getting a little bit sideways through there, maybe. Trying to keep it clean though, nice and tight. Don't want to clip the barriers though, we've seen that happen before. And see what we can do through this section, which is a very interesting corner in this car. I think I might have said already, definitely flat if you get the line right. If you don't get the line right, it's going to end in disaster. Running very close to the wall as we came out of that hairpin. As we come down towards the tyre section, we've just got to get through another chicane. I know I don't like the chicanes, but can we please just get through the chicane? No, we can't. Let's just forget all about that standard car run and move on to this fully upgraded Sultan. As per usual, it's got all the performance upgrades, turbo, transmission, engine, yada yada yada. What I'm more interested in this car is its visual upgrades. The Sultan RS badge, which, as I said before, I believe, is the tribute to the Sultan RS, sort of secret car on Grand Theft Auto 4. What game that was, by the way. Also got the nice bonnet scoop and the rear wing. Kind of makes it look vaguely similar to the Mitsubishi Lancer in the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. But if you're not interested in that sort of thing, I bet you're interested in how it does round the lap in comparison to the standard car. It does manage to get through the first chicane, so something that the standard car did struggle on. Clipped the wall a little bit on the exit, but that's not terrible. It's not a big deal. A little bit of contact, you know, Robin's racing, all that. But coming through up to the hill now, seems to take the change in gradient quite well. Seems to be quite nice. Opening lap around the first corner, bit of wheel on the grass, four-wheel drive on that, very sideways. I think I took out that sign again. Can I have a look? Can't really see from there. Although I shouldn't have looked then because I'll break myself now. Right, let's run down towards the tyres. Come on. Nice and quick. Do your thing. In towards. That's very sideways. Catch it. Catch it. Nah, I've spun it. Bugger. I think that's the first time I've spun a car on this track. Certainly that. I'm pretty sure that's the first time that I've spun a car as opposed to crash it when buggering up a lap. Speaking of buggering things up, crashed at the first chicane again. Let's move on. Next lap. See if we can get through without crashing this time. Yes, we did manage it. Fantastic! Coming up towards across the bridge. And we'll just let the car do its thing. As I said before, use its upgraded power. And see if we can fly into the braking zone for the next left-hander. Got a little bit wide, touching the wheel on the grass. Going up the hill, touching the grass again, four-wheel drive system, suspension. It's not a problem. That could be a problem. That's a bit of a crash. It's a very solid concrete bridge there. So we're just going to give it another go. What else can we do? First through the chicane, got that sorted this time. See if we can make it up past the concrete bridge in a minute. Let's hopefully let the car do its power thing and actually contribute towards a decent lap this time. Coming up the hill, a little bit wide. The car seemed to take the change in gradient pretty well. I guess it's got a pretty decent suspension package. Just giggling to myself there as I take a very safe line on the next lap so I don't run wide and hit the bridge again. Pretty nice line through that left-hander. I've said before how tricky that is. Another hairpin. Touch the wall there. As I said before, trait of this car's got a little bit of understeer, but it's not a huge amount of deal. Let's see if we can go through this chicane as well. Right, left, right. Yep, got through there. Nice and neatly. Didn't even stick a wheel on the grass, as I have done before. Coming into the final hairpin. Didn't use the handbrake this time. Did run pretty wide though. But we've actually managed to get a decent lap in. So we're now on to our last flying lap. And again, we've got through the first chicane. Oh, that really is annoying me today. But this car is so much nicer to drive when it's fully upgraded. I don't know if it's... I think I talked about placebo effects a little bit in the previous episode, but it's just... it just seems nicer to drive. I can't really put my finger on it. Oh, that was close. Clipped the bail, nearly flew into the concrete bridge again. And did manage to hold it. I've probably made this lap a lot slower, so I doubt that I'm going to hit the bridge again, so I doubt I'm going to improve my lap time, but I haven't crashed as such. I might as well carry on very sideways through there again. And we're just flying down to finish our final lap. Yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, the car's a lot nicer to drive. There's not one specific reason, it's just generally much nicer to drive. And as we finish the race, I expect you now want me to move on to the scores. And the Sultan actually goes fastest. But does it have the best upgrades? Let's find out. The standard car did a 1 minute 6.5, which is the fastest standard car. The fully upgraded time was a 1 minute 0.2, which makes it by far and away the the fastest fully upgraded car. Now, those of you that are very good at maths will already know that the gain is better than the blades, and it is 6.3 seconds. 6.3 seconds! That was the gain that the upgrades got you around that track in this car. That is phenomenal. That is 1.5 seconds more than the Blade last time, which itself was 0.7 more than the Dukes from the first episode. So this car, the upgrades on this car are more effective to the tune of 2 seconds over the Dukes. It's the fastest so far, and it's got the most effective upgrades. I think that's a pretty much a bombshell to finish on, to quote Jeremy Clarkson. So, as you'll hear very often on Top Gear, and on that bombshell, good night. Hastings out.